Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. Yes, as you can probably hear, I'm still dealing with my cold. I'm probably going to add cold meds to it before Sunday's video. Anyway, I know what you're thinking right now. Phoenix Knight, I thought Star Wars Imperial Assault was going to be next on the channel. It was supposed to be, and we're on track to play that on Sunday. But before we get to that video, we're going to come back to Final Girl. I played this game on Wednesday night, and it turns out I was making some pretty significant mistakes in that playthrough. So we're going to run it back into a reshoot. Now, I don't usually do reshoots, but I happen to be off today, so we're going to go ahead and do a reshoot. Having said that, I appreciate the feedback in the comments section from that video. What I do not appreciate was the personal insults. Now, I'm going to apologize in advance for you guys who are watching and tend to be more supportive of the videos, but I'm going to go on a very mild rant here. Now, if you know me for any length of time, I've always welcomed constructive criticism, whether it's on the channel or in my personal life. If there's something you guys think I'm doing wrong, whether it's in a game or with my shooting, or there's something you think I can do better, I will always welcome that. I will always welcome that constructive feedback in the comment section below. What I will not tolerate, though, are personal insults, whether they're aimed at me or another user. I will delete those comments when I see them. Anyway, rant over. Like I said, we're going to come back to Final Girl today and do a rematch of everything. So once again, we take a killer, a location, and a girl, set them all up together. It's a modular setup, so that we put everything together. It is all the comments are raising a bit of a problem that I'm having with the game, but I'll talk about that more toward the end of the video. Anyway, let's go ahead and set up today's rematch. Here's our killer for today's video. We're going through Hans again. So you can see we've got how much damage he does as he progresses up the Bloodlust track, how many spaces he moves, and a few spaces where when they get to that level, the horror rating will go up. This one will reveal his dark power, which is this card. The finale will actually be revealed when the terror deck runs out. He's got 12 health, 11 health markers, plus a 1 health final health marker. So that's everything for Hans. Now let's go back through our location. By sheer coincidence of the shuffle of the setup cards, we are using the same setup that we had last time around. So we've got 2 victims down here at the fire pit, 1 at the lake. Our final girl is starting at the dock. Hans is starting over here outside the utility shed. We've got 2 victims at the cliff and makeout point, then 1 victim at the cabins, and 1 victim each at those locations. We do need to reveal the top card of each item deck, so top of the cabins we find an energy drink. There's no way these things are good for you, but they're better than dying. We can discard this during the action phase to choose one of the following. Either gain 3 time or move a space. At the dock where we're at, we'll find a lucky rabbit's foot. I'm not the superstitious sort, but I'll take all the help I can get. I can discard during the action phase to make a horror roll. For each success I roll, choose one of the following. Gain 2 time, heal a health, decrease the horror rating by 1, and move 1 space. And finally, at the utility shed we find motorboat keys. Old Man Jackson isn't going to mind if I borrow his boat, because I'm pretty sure he's dead. Place the motorboat token at the closest space to you bordering the water. Spend 2 time to use the boat to travel to any other space bordering the water. Victims may come with you. Okay, so we've got so those are our starting items, and that's our setting all set up. Now let's go meet our final girl. Here's our final girl, Barbara. So we've got spaces here for the victims that we save, and each of them gives us something different. So we can either decrease the horror rating by 1, gain 2 time, heal a health, take any top item card, or move 1 space. And I'm not that particularly thrilled with the items at the start of the game that we have. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting hand. So we've got the zero cost action cards. We've got a short rest here, which we can use if we need to heal health badly. So for 2 successes, we gain 2 health. 1 success gains a health but loses a time. If we roll no successes, we gain a health, but the horror rating goes up by 1. We lose a time, and the action phase is over. I'll go through the flavor text when I actually play these. Then we have a weak attack. 2 successes to gain a health, or to do a damage. 1 success, deal a damage, but also lose a health. No successes, lose a health, and the action phase is over. Then we have 2 copies of Focus. 2 successes, decrease the horror rating and gain 2 time. 1 success, decrease the horror rating by 1, but lose a time. No successes to lose 2 time. Then a Walk. 2 successes to move up to 2 spaces and lose a time. 1 success to move up to a space and lose a time. No successes, either move up to a space, lose a health, and lose 2 time, or just lose 2 time. So that's our starting hand setup along with our final girl. Now let's move back up top to draw our first event. For our first event, we find Boyfriend. The victim nearest to you is your boyfriend. If the boyfriend dies in your space, start the next action phase with 12 time. If the boyfriend leaves play, discard this card. So this victim right here will get replaced by a blue meeple, because that's a special victim, that's our boyfriend. Anyway, with that, we're all set to go, so let's get into this playthrough. Obviously, it's not going to be a perfect recreation of everything from the original video. So we'll just basically play it as a new game. So for our first action, I do want to start on lowering the horror rating if I can right away. Those two will probably end up being discard fodder. So we'll start off with one of our focus cards. Okay, think. I know what I have to do. It's scary, but I have to get over that and focus on my next move. So that's been played. We'll bring the bigger dice tower into shot, which is, I can put that right there, but it's a very imposing dice tower, which is why I initially went with the smaller tower, but we'll see if the bigger one should roll more reliably. Okay, we get 3 successes. We get a 3, so we can discard 2 cards to turn it into a success, and I will discard the weak attack and the short rest, which will let me lower the horror rating, but it does cost me a time. In that case, I will go ahead and walk, mostly so I can get Barbara into the space with her boyfriend. Even though we're a while from having to worry about the boyfriend dying in our space, since Hans doesn't have a way to get to the lake without doing a loop around. One success, and I can discard 2 cards if I want another success, but I don't. I just wanted to get into the space with Barbara's boyfriend. Then we'll play... Let's play another walk, see if we can get moving here. 1 foot in front of the other. Nice and slow. There is a bloodthirsty killer after me, but that's no reason to panic, right? Oh sure, that's totally a reason to keep your cool. So we've got our 2 dice in the cup, and I'm going to go for a roll on that. We get 1 success, and I can discard 2 cards if I had to for a success, but I don't, so I'll move up to the cliff to see if I can get least another couple of these victims out. And then we'll play the focus to see if I can lower the horror rating again. If I had 2 cards to discard, I would be able to, but I don't. So time goes down to 3, and then that's the end of the action phase because I'm all out of cards. For 3 time, let's grab a sprint since I do want to try to get moving, and a close call. So then we'll reset that back to 6. Next up, we'll have the killer phase where the killer would do his action, which I kind of glossed over, targeting the victim or the final girl to attack. Now, if he has a choice of which to attack, he'll always target a victim if there's nobody else in the space. So there's nobody for his killer action to attack, so we'll draw a terror card. We'll draw. He wants fresh blood. If there are no victims on the board, discard and draw the next terror card. Otherwise, targeting a victim, he'll move twice and then attack. So he will move into our space right away, and then he will kill. Targeting one of the victims, he will target the boyfriend to kill him, which means we'll start the next phase with 12 time. And his bloodlust goes up, so he's still doing 2 damage, moving 1 space, all of that. So that'll move into the discard pile, and actually I should probably just put that in the victim pool. Alright, so then we would have the panic phase, but nothing happens there because... Actually, no, I take that back. We do have a panic phase. Okay, so let's see if we can figure out... Okay, so looking at the board, 1 to 4, 1 victim will move to the lake. 5 victim will move to make out point. 6, one will panic up to this space up here. So I'll go ahead and just roll 2 dice at the same time. We'll bring the dice tower back into shot, and we'll see where these victims panic. Four and a 5, so one will panic to the lake, the other will panic to make out point. Oh joy. Alright, so that was not exactly desired. And then upkeep phase where we'd reveal the finale card if we had one, if we had no terror cards left, and we could rearrange items in the backpack, but we're all empty there. So we do begin with 12 time in round 2. So let's see what we can do with 12 time. If we stay put, we're getting hit pretty hard. So in that case, I don't think the horror rating goes up when he kills a victim. I know the bloodlust does. Let me double check that. Like each time a victim's killed, bloodlust increases, which is what I thought. But like I said, I don't think the horror rating goes up when he kills anybody. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about the horror rating going up when he kills. So we'll go ahead and go for a sprint, see if we can make some serious distance here. Run! Where? Anywhere. Sounds like a plan to me. Actually, running from this cold sounds like a plan right now, but there's nothing I can do about that. I definitely do not want to be in the space with Hans. Alright, there's 1 success, which I will actually use my close call to re-roll this one that's not a success. Which stays not a success. Delightful. Which means I should probably look at the sprint here. 2 successes, I can move up to 3 spaces and lose a time. One success, which I got, I can move up to 2 spaces and lose a time. No successes, I either move up to a space, lose a health, lose 2 time, and the action phase is over, or I lose a health and lose 2 time. But since I got 1 success, I can move 1, 2 to the dock. So the phase is over there, which means now I'm into the planning phase, so I get all my 0 cost cards back. And I have 11 time to buy with, so that's a lot of good stuff. But the hand limit is 10 cards, and I've already got 6 in hand from getting the 0 cost back. So I think I'll grab a couple searches so I can start cycling through the cards at the dock. It's for 2. I've got a walk, which is all I need to get out of here. So I've got 7 time left. I'm not really in attack mode yet, so I'm not too worried about that. Did I grab a... Oh no, I've got a walk. A sprint might not be a terrible idea either. I will grab a distraction to try to knock the horror rating down again. Maybe I can do some damage with that this round. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm down to 4 time. Let's grab another sprint for 2. Maybe I can get moving here. And a guard for 2. Let me make sure I'm not going to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I am actually going to hit hand size, so I got to back up. I'm not going to take the guard or the second sprint. I do want the distraction. So that means I've spent 7 times, so I still have 4 left. Let's grab a planning then. Yeah, we'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, 10. Okay, so I'm at hand limit, but I'm going to be busy next turn. So with that, we're into the killer phase next. There's nobody to attack, so we draw a terror card. We draw... Hans wants me. He's always wanted me. Targeting the final girl, so he'll target us. Moving twice, which means he moves 2 spaces, so 1, 2, and then he attacks, which is doing 2 damage right now. So we'll take those 2 health off of Barbara. And he didn't kill anybody, so we don't have a panic phase. We blow right through the upkeep phase as well, and we jump in to round 3. So I've been presented a little bit of an opportunity here to start the round. Now, I do want to cycle through the items a little bit, but... So I think we'll actually go ahead and start with that. So we'll start with the search. So for 2 successes, I can take the top 2 item cards at my space and choose 1. Place the other on top face up or underneath face down. So basically, flip it over on top or on bottom of the deck and lose a time. 1 success to take the top item card of my space. On no successes, I take the top item card of my space. Horror rating goes up by 2. And I lose 2 time, or just bump the horror rating by 1 and lose 2 time. So we'll bring these out of shot. We'll bring the dice tower back into shot, preferably without... Okay, just carry it over like that. There we go. Okay. All right, I'd like to get 1 success without the I'd like to like to be able to take the top item without a horror increase. So I actually will discard 2 cards to get a success out of that. So that'll actually give me the lucky rabbit's foot, which I will put in my backpack once I move the dice tower slightly. Then we'll try another search, see if I can cycle through the dock a little bit more. We'll change dice out. I see these 2 5s, we'll roll those. We get a success, and I can discard 2 cards for another success, which I think I will discard 2 foci so I can look at the top 2 of the dock. And ideally, I want to see a weapon here so I can start trying to do some damage. But anyway, our first card is an axe. Hold still for a second while I bury this in your face. Have to be in melee range to use it, does 2 damage, takes both hand slots. This had better be a doozy of an item or I'm snapping up the axe. Mysterious pills. No telling what the hell these are, but I'm out of options. Down the hatch and fingers crossed. Discard during the action phase to choose one of the following. Either decrease the horror rating by 1 or lose 2 time. Yeah, this isn't even a question. I'm grabbing the axe and I'm going to put the mysterious pills on top. Because there's a chance I might be able to grab them in this phase yet. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself on that. Let's see. So we did lose... Okay, so we did lose 2 times, so we're actually down to 4 right now. Let's go ahead and... Did we go through the flavor text for search? Okay, those are discarded. Let's take a quick look at the flavor text for search. There's got to be something useful in here. A weapon or something that can help me survive. Why is this happening to me? Well, we did just find the axe, Barbara, so cool your jets. I think we'll go with a... Which roll do I want to work more? Do I want the walk or the weak attack to work? Well, let's go ahead and play planning here. So 2 successes gives me 3 dice for the next horror roll. 1 success gives me 2 for the next horror roll and lose a time. No successes gives me 1, but it bumps the horror rating by 1 and I lose 2 time. I need a plan. Think. Wait, if I just... And then... And finally, yes! That could work. It has to work. We hope so anyway, Barbara. One success, so that does work, but does lose us a time though. Next up, we're going to play our weak attack. So we get 2 dice for this roll. So as long as we connect, we'll be doing 3 damage as long as we connect. One, and I can discard 2 cards if I want an additional success, but other than the losing health, I don't really lose that much from getting hit here. So 1, and Hans loses 3. Then I'll play a walk, so I can try to get this victim out of here. I only get 2 dice for that roll. And we get no successes. That's a problem. So we might as well play Distraction, actually, which gives us a choice. I can either move up to a space, lose a health and 2 time, or just lose 2 time. I'm playing kind of dangerously here, but I am going to move the victim, which will cost me a health. But I do get him out because I'm on a door space, and I'll cover up the one where I gain the health right back. And then we'll try a Distraction to finish the turn. So 2 successes means I can decrease the horror rating by 2 and I gain 2 time. 1 success lets me decrease the horror rating by 1 and gain a time. No successes, I either decrease the horror rating by 1 but lose 4 time, or I increase the horror rating by 1 and lose 2 time. I need some sort of distraction to buy myself some time. What I need right now is to buy myself maybe some better attack cards, because I think I'm in a situation right now where we might be starting to look into attacking more, but we'll see about that. 2 successes, so we decrease the horror rating by 2, which means now I'm rolling 3 dice on every horror roll, and I gain 2 time, which is very welcome. We're also at the... we're going to discard the Lucky Rabbit's Foot to make a roll, to make a horror roll. So we're rolling 3 dice. Alright, so for every success, I can choose one of the following. Either gain 2 time, heal a health, decrease the horror rating, or move a space. I think we're going to gain 2 time. Then we can bring that out of shot, which gives us 7 time now to buy with. The question is, what do I think Hans is doing? Do I think he's moving into our space, or... I guess I don't know what the terror card is doing, so I'm going to take a Furious Strike and an Improvise on the chance that he's moving into our space. So I get the... So I lose all of these. Distraction. Planning. Both searches. I mean, we did get the axe, so I think we're in pretty good shape here. Alright, so that's it for the planning phase. Killer phase, nobody's there for him to attack, so we just draw a fresh terror card. Hans wanted me. He's always wanted me. Okay, this actually works out sort of okay. So he's targeting us again. Moving into our space, he would move twice to get to us, except once gets him there. And the attacks for another 2 damage. So we're going to have a bit of a problem here, but I've got something of a plan. So we do take the 2 damage. Panic phase, there are no victims in this space, and Hans didn't kill anybody anyway. Then during the upkeep, then we have another upkeep phase, so we blow through that. We're into round 4 now, and I need this plan desperately to work. So let's see what happens here. We'll start off round 4 with an Improvise. 2 successes. Until this action phase ends, all 3s and 4s are successes. 1 success for the next horror roll only. All 3s and 4s are successes. No successes, increase the horror rating by 1, and lose a time. It's time to improvise, to go off script. They'll never see it coming. We hope anyway, Barbara. So we'll bring the dice tower in shot. Grab 3 dice. Two successes, which 1 success would have essentially been the same anyway, because we're only making 1 more horror roll this phase for a Furious Strike. 2 successes gives me 2 damage and decrease the horror rating by 1, which, since it's down at the bottom of the track, that'll give me additional time. One success means I do a damage, decrease the horror rating by 1, and the action phase ends. No successes, lose a health, increase the horror rating by 1, and the action phase ends. Bitch? Who you calling bitch? You want a bitch? I'll show you a bitch. Well, we're also modifying this with the axe, so if we connect, we'll be doing 3 damage. At least 3 damage, I should say. And let's see what we got here. We do connect. So we do another 3 damage to him. Oop, come on. There we go. That's another 3 damage. Decrease the horror rating, which gives me another time, so I'm up to 7. And then the action phase is over, but it was going to be over anyway because I was discarding the... because I was on my last action card anyway. So, for the planning phase, I get the 0 cost back. Here I need a retaliate for 4. So that's down to 3. I'll take a sprint for 2 since I want to be able to get out of here. And a close call for 1 in case I need to re-roll something. And there's a very good chance I will need to re-roll something. So killer phase, we're in the space, which means he'll be attacking. But this is exactly what why I bought the first card I did. I bought a retaliate. So on 2 successes, I ignore all damage from the attack and do 2 damage back, which looks like I can use that to modify the axe, but I'll have to double check that. 1 success, reduce the attack damage from the attack by 2, which will also cancel it completely out. Still do a damage back, no successes, I get nothing out of it. I'm not scared anymore. The next time it attacks, I'll be ready. I'm going to kill that godforsaken thing. Let me double check on the retaliate, though. I'm pretty sure I can use the axe to modify that for damage, but... you can you can modify the retaliate reaction card with a weapon to do even more damage. So yes, I will be using the axe to modify the retaliate. Let me make sure I've got some discard fodder ready for it. I can put... I'll probably use those to modify it, but let's see what happens on the roll first. So I'm rolling 3 dice because the horror rating's at 1. One success, which means I reduce the damage from the attack by 2, which means I'm also taking nothing. And then I do 1 damage, which turns into 3 because of the axe. So Hans has 3 health left. We have 2. So that actually worked very beautifully. But now we're at a part where I'm hoping for no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Because the whammy here would be Hans attacking again. So let's find out what we're doing here. Let's go see if the rumors are true, idiots. Place 2 new victims in the space where the killer started the game. So the killer started up here. So 2 new victims there. Then increase the horror rating by 1, which is potentially bad. And we draw a new event card. How delightful. So here we will draw Star-Crossed Lovers. When exactly 2 victims are in a space and one of them is killed, the other immediately dies as well. Oh joy. Okay, so with that, retaliate goes away. These all get sorted back. We're into round 5, back up to 6 time. And we're actually going to try to kill Hans here. So let's see what happens. Let's see if we can knock the horror rating down first. So we're hoping for 2 successes on this roll. Unfortunately, we are only rolling 2 dice. But as long as we get at least 1 success, we will knock the horror rating down. Which we get 1, and I can discard a card if I want another success. I'd rather have the ability to convert on my next roll, so I will actually just take the horror rating decrease and lose a time, because I do want to be able to roll extra dice on my weak attack. So if this doesn't work, I'm going to need to be able to get foe out of the space. So let me prepare. Actually, I've got that I can use to re-roll. So let's go ahead and roll first, then I'll figure out what we're doing for discard fodder. Okay. This is where we're going to use the close call, so I'm going to lose 2 time, go down to 3, and re-roll everything. That needs to be a much better roll, Barbara. Much better. So, we got 2 successes out of that, which means we were modifying the axe attack with that, so we actually will do 3 damage to Hans, which brings us over to the final health token. On the back of this could be some number of health, and this was another mistake I made on the playthrough, so I would need to give him a final health token. So basically I give him this number of hearts minus 1, the last one being the final health token. But let's see what's on the back here. Actually, nothing's on the back here, so we have defeated Hans, which means we had the same result that we had on the playthrough on Wednesday. So it took us a little bit of effort to get there, but Hans has been defeated. So the other mistake I made, let's see if there was one in here that I could show you. No, there wasn't. But the other mistake I was making was about the dark powers, where apparently you have to do damage, you have to do the damage to them to clear them out. I'm not completely sure how I feel about that rule. I'll have to play this game a few more times to get some thoughts on that, but we do actually get to keep Barbara's card for legit. So once again, we'll just refresh our memory on what this is. If you don't want any spoilers, skip ahead about 30 seconds. So we get an envelope for Barbara's eyes. Don't open until you have survived a game with Barbara. And as you can see, I'll tip Hans down. We have survived a game with Barbara. So that means we get to add Barbara's rifle to the rotation when we're playing with Barbara, or the items. Blowing this maniac's head off with old Betsy should be cake. Range of 1 to 4, does an extra damage, uses both hand slots, and 4 uses. Barbara's rifle can only modify the weak attack card, and only Barbara may use this item. Alright, so next time we play a game with Barbara, we'll get to use that, but we'll be at a different setting, probably a different setting and a different killer the next time we play this game. So I do want to look out of curiosity, because we were getting pretty close with Barbara. What would her final health token have been? She would have come back with 2 health, so this would have basically been the situation we would have been in, except with one of the white final health tokens. But I do... Let me see if I can... here we go. So this is one of the dark powers we had on Wednesday. Yes, I would need to do the 2 health of damage to this before I could do further damage to Hans, but none of the minor dark powers came up. Surprisingly, he only killed 1 victim that entire game. He was mostly he was mostly after us, and I was able to use that to my advantage, as we saw there. But I'm not going to spoil what was under Hans's cards. But yeah, we managed to get away with one there. So that will do it for this playthrough of Final Girl. Now, I mentioned a problem that I was starting to have with this game as I've been playing it. So one thing I don't like is how fiddly this game can be for its size. It feels like there's a lot you need to keep track of. Like you need to keep track of the dark powers that the killer comes out with. You need to watch the events. You need to watch the victims and panic them during the panic phase. And I get that it's a thematic. I get it's very thematic and very immersive. I do like that about it. But it feels like it, for its size, it feels like it should be a little less fiddly, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think this is something like in the Arkham Horror files for how fiddly it is. But it is, like I said, it is a pretty small game, and I suspect I'll have more to say about it in my end-of-month recap video for February, but let's wrap this video up. Sunday, we're still on track to play our first app-based game on the channel as we play Star Wars Imperial Assault, also continuing the Attack of Wargaming list in that video, and next week's weeknight video will continue that as well, as we'll be playing Metal Dawn next week, which is also on the list. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.